going to talk about the day I decided to quit my job. At that particular point, I was the two-time salesman of the year. I had been in the sales business and car business for about, I think, 6 years, 5 to 6 years at that point. I produced over and over again in sales. It's from month to month. Every month you start over new. So you don't have any sales in the book. You hadn't made any money. You're just starting over another fresh month. And so after several years of that, after several months of that, after several days and nights of doing it, all of the calls, whenever you decide to get off from work, all of the calls on holidays, all the calls on weekends, all of the calls when you're just trying to chill out. This is what happens when you're a successful individual, whether it's in sales, whether it's in manufacturing, whether it's in, the corporate world. The work-life balance, there was no work-life balance. There was essentially always work. Your job is really never done when you're doing sales. And in some cases, or in many cases, if you're in management or upper management, there is no work-life balance. It's work, work, work. So I got to the point where I wanted to either cut it back some or have some kind of balance, or I wanted to make more money. Unfortunately, in our economy or in our society, in order to make more money, you either have to move up in a role, or in a lot of cases, you have to resign and go somewhere else. At that particular point, I did not want to resign or go anywhere else. I just wanted to stay at that particular location and figure it out, or I was just gonna resign. So, long story short, at this particular point, I was working at a BMW dealership. I had talked with the general manager. The general manager had stated before, because this is not the first time I had a conversation, it was probably like the second or third time, but essentially stated that we'll talk about it. That's my key is if, hey, we're not gonna talk about this right now, we can put it off to a later date. At that, I got pretty much tired of having that conversation. So I gave it one more shot and I said, hey, I've been producing the same amount of sales every month. I'm not making any more money. I've plateaued. It's just all my time is gone. And one thing you and I and everyone else don't have more of is time. This particular individual stated that if I could get 20 sales that particular month or going forward, we could probably think about that or have a discussion about that. Unfortunately, where I was actually located, we would sell about 80 cars a month. This is a BMW dealer, obviously. We would sell about, 80 cars roughly a month. Your top two salespeople are going to get between 15, 16 sales. The one behind it might get 15 to 14 sales. It's kind of pretty much regular. The money that you was going to make was going to be essentially the same. And it was always essentially first, second, or third salesperson will get, the majority of the sales. When you're always adding more people to the sales floor, that means that the sales are just going to be consistent. The sales going to go around. If somebody resigns, if somebody quits, somebody get fired, it doesn't really matter. They're going to fill somebody else in position, and still the same amount of sales will go around. So at that point, I realized there was no more growth. I did not want to go into finance. I really didn't care to go into management. I just wanted my time back. So had a conversation. It was the same thing, but this individual just got back from vacation. We had the conversation. I was like, hey, can I get my time back? Essentially, they blew me off again. At that point, it was time for me to go. Now, what I'm telling you is, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to resign. Right now, 2026, it is strange and odd, for sure. So I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to resign. However, what I am telling you is to have yourself in a position to where if you want to make some adjustments or changes, you can. Not telling you to quit your job. You might not want to be out in the streets like that. So I finally end up making my mind up that this was it. I was no longer doing this anymore. I had purchased some items. I had set up some business, ventures or whatever, and I decided to walk away. that day I felt so relieved, so relieved, because at that point I was tired of the constant month in and month out sales and not having my time back. Now, don't get me wrong, in the other venture that I went into, I didn't have a lot of time, a lot of extra time, but I did have more flexibility. In the sales, cars, or whether it's insurance, or whatever the case may be, like you're gonna work 6 to 7 days a week, um, and it's a grind. It's a grind. It's definitely a grind. But what it teaches you is in sales, if you can sell, you could run your own business. If you can sell, you could, build up a clientele. If you can sell, that means typically you have a go-getter mentality. If you can sell, that means that you probably can communicate. So what I say to you all in general, sales skills is something really good to have. Sales can get you further in society. You have sales in logistics. You have sales in pharmaceuticals. You have sales in manufacturing. You have sales in software. Sales is where you can go and like plateau and get more bang for your buck if you're capable of doing so. I definitely want to talk about that. In our society right now, there's a lot of layoffs, a significant lot of layoffs. I would probably, if I was to give somebody some advice, some of us are used to the 9 to 5, the hourly wage. But when you really think about it, I didn't look into sales. I had done sales off and on for several years before that, but it wasn't like a full-time thing. If you're trying to merge or trying to help yourself move forward and try to max out your income, sales might be the way to go. It's going to be a grind. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but whenever you get a book of business, you start getting those recurring clients over and over again. They're able to trust you. You're able to communicate with them well. Sales might be the way to go. Once I was able to understand sales, and once I was able to understand how the grind of sales and the techniques of how to win over your client, how to build those relationships and how to maintain those relationships, you make sure you put them first. It can go a long way from there. This is Terrence. Wants to hear go ahead first. I just kind of wanted to have a discussion briefly about kind of like what pushed me to like leave one of my jobs, with one of my sales jobs. It's actually one of the better jobs that I've had in my career. But I had gotten tired of giving up all my time. And if you're going to do sales and give up all your time, um, set yourself up in a manner to where you can walk away if you want to walk away. It's better to walk away from something than to be fired or to be laid off and do you not have a plan. You always need to work on yourself. You always need to be trying to better yourself. And if you're doing this without being forced to do so, you're in a better position. Just Terrence wants to hear go ahead first. You all have a blessed night, blessed day. Please subscribe, please like, please follow, and hit the notification button. I thank you all. You all have a blessed day. I'll see you all soon. Thanks.